We've made it! It is officially SummerSlam 2019 weekend. What is going on? It's your boy Tommy on the spot for Watch Along Wrestling. Hope you guys are excited for the weekend, whether it be WWE, whether it be New Japan, NXT, whatever it is, there's something for everyone, and hopefully you're having a heck of a time. And thanks so much for checking out the channel all week long to celebrate SummerSlam weekend. We've been going back in time here and ranking every SummerSlam from dirt worst to absolute best, counting them down, 31 SummerSlams, and we're halfway through the countdown. So with that being said, let's get to the top 15 SummerSlams of all time. Number 15, SummerSlam 2016. This is a SummerSlam that actually gets a lot of hate. It's probably because of the main event. This was actually built up as Brock Lesnar versus Randy Orton, sort of a dream match as both these guys came up in 2002. And then the match itself happened. This is right after Lesnar's UFC run, so actually WWE, if I remember correctly, actually took a commercial out on Brock Lesnar's UFC return to promote his big match with Randy Orton at SummerSlam 2016. But the match itself didn't really live up to the hype. It was kind of a deal where they tried to kind of incorporate some of the MMA style. They had Brock legitimately bust Randy Orton open with some elbows, legitimately concuss the guy, and then the match just ended. It was weird, and it certainly left the crowd just kind of confused as they were leaving. This is another SummerSlam that I was at. But one of the things that I do remember is one of the greatest SummerSlam matches of all time. Big match, John Cena, who I think is Mr. SummerSlam, taking on AJ Styles. An incredible match, and they had built up the AA off the top rope, John Cena's finish, as a completely unstoppable move. And so when AJ Styles kicked out of it at this show, it was a huge deal. Crowd went nuts. Crowd thought AA off the top, that was it. But AJ kicked out, beat up John Cena, took Cena's armband, put it around his head, and he became the face that runs the place on SmackDown Live. Also, though, let's not forget, this is also the show, the first ever Universal Championship match. Finn Balor versus Seth Rollins, and probably the last attempt of WWE to promote a top babyface who's a non-Shield member, as they really got behind Finn Balor coming out of the original brand split, or I guess the revived brand split, back in 2016. So that was cool to see Finn get the win. Me personally, this is a show that I actually love the pre-show. There was a lot of tag guys on the pre-show, and that was really a lot of fun. That was cool. I remember walking into the building, getting my tickets at the last second, and who's next to me but Zack Ryder's father, who was trying to tell the security that he had to get in early because his son's match was about to go on, which was pretty funny, and I actually got a selfie with him. On top of that, if there's one other thing I remember about this show, Big Cass and Enzo Amore, these guys were super over. People were so excited, singing along, going nuts for them. It was a really cool show, and SummerSlam 2016, man, I think it's an underrated one. It starts our top 15. Number 14, SummerSlam 1988. We're going back for this one, guys. The original WWE SummerSlam way back in 1988. The last of the big four shows to have its debut edition in SummerSlam, and it's a show that I still like and enjoy to this day. You had the Mega Powers, ooh yeah, Macho Madness. Randy Savage teaming with Hulk Hogan to take on the Mega Bucks, Macho Man, $1 Million Man Ted DiBiase, and Andre the Giant. This is great. I love the build of this match. It was something where, if I'm not mistaken, I think this is the last built match between Hulk Hogan and Andre the Giant, so you're getting kind of that year and a half long storyline kind of climax and end here with this match. But it's really well done. Obviously, this is also the match where Jesse Ventura is your referee, and Miss Elizabeth gets up on the apron, removes her skirt, kind of to reveal I don't even know how to say this without coming off really odd, but I guess the bottom of a one-piece bathing suit, or a bikini, if you will. But at the time, it was so risque, everyone went nuts for it, and they start that build at the end there to kind of splitting the Mega Powers up on the road to WrestleMania 5. So I love the main event, and if there's one thing I remember about this show, it's the Intercontinental Championship match. The Honky Tonk Man, the longest reigning Intercontinental Champion in WWE history, calling out somebody to come and step up to the challenge for the Intercontinental Championship, and who should answer that but a relative newcomer in the Ultimate Warrior. Comes in, destroys Honky in just a couple of seconds, and wins the Intercontinental Championship. That's how you make a star. That's how you utilize a long title reign to make a star. And to this day, it's a great moment, an all-time great. SummerSlam moment. They made action figures about this Ultimate Warrior, and it's just great. So really a good show, SummerSlam 1988. Go out of your way to check it out if you've been sleeping on it, just assuming it's an old type show. Number 13, SummerSlam 2008. All right, guys, so I said that SummerSlam 2007 was the worst SummerSlam of all time. Well, all the way up here at number 13 is the SummerSlam that came after that year, SummerSlam 2008. And there's nothing that's super memorable about this show, but the final two matches are really top-notch. You get John Cena against Batista. Obviously, these guys, the two pillars, their careers basically ran parallel while they were in WWE. Both guys come in 2002. Both guys win the their first world title at WrestleMania 21, and each one of them kind of takes over the other brand and then eventually swap brands. So these guys were kind of the pillars of the WWE Ruthless Aggression era, and here they were going at it. SummerSlam 2008, really, really good stuff, and a strong match from those guys. Main event, I mean, you can't go wrong with The Undertaker against Edge in a Hell in a Cell. Great match there, one that I remember to this day as being a solid main event. Edge went on a really good run of SummerSlams. He's had great matches pretty much throughout his entire run at SummerSlam. He's like an underrated type performer at the event, and this is a top main event. I'd say it's probably top 5 main events in SummerSlam history, top 10 at the least. So really strong stuff there. On top of that, Triple H actually manages to get a decent match out of the Great Khali. And at the time, this was CM Punk's first title reign. I was super stoked to see him as world champion, and I was happy he didn't lose the belt here. So SummerSlam 2008, not bad. Number 12, SummerSlam 2009. Going just 1 year further now, SummerSlam 2009, and this show gets the nod over a show like SummerSlam 2008 because it really felt like for the first time WWE was going with two guys who were two quote-unquote smaller guys. You had CM Punk going up against Jeff Hardy for the world title. They had really gotten behind Jeff Hardy here. He was white hot. I mean, this guy was uber popular. He was someone that, as a young grasshopper, I actually had that year actually dressed as Jeff Hardy for Halloween, and it actually ended up with me losing quite a bit of weight, so I always give Jeff a kudo for that. But awesome match here. These guys tore it up, and they were just, it was fresh. It felt like WWE was really cool. Hardy was cool, CM Punk was cool. This is right before CM Punk kind of gets into that maniacal type of straight edge society leader. He's just sort of turned, and at the same time, Jeff is finishing up his run. It's a good thing he did, because of course, just a few days after he finishes his run, he ends up getting busted for like hardcore amounts of drugs that were being sent to his house, and of course that just led into the CM Punk storyline. So I love the main event here. The rest of the show, kind of a mixed bag, but the opener is awesome. Rey Mysterio versus a very young Dolph Ziggler. Go out of your way to check this out. It's 2009 WWE SummerSlam. It gets at number 12, just outside of the top 10. Can't go further than that because, again, in 2009, we're still doing DX. I mean, at this point, it was like to the well way too often. It was too much with the DX stuff. I was way over it, and again, there was only so many times that I could see two guys like Cody Rhodes and Ted DiBiase continue to take the job out to DX, who was at this point just, I felt like a comedy act, and one that was just not necessarily needed at the time. Number 11, SummerSlam 2015. I love this SummerSlam. This was the kickoff of the 4 years of SummerSlams here at the Barclays Center. It was just an incredible time to be a fan of WWE because NXT was right on the rise. This is right when they have, the night before they do the NXT TakeOver Brooklyn, the first one from the Barclays Center, where Bayley and Sasha Banks tear the house down. Jushin Thunder Liger's on that show. Kevin Owens and Finn Balor for the NXT World title. This is just, it's an awesome show that really leads into the weekend there of SummerSlam 2015, which was great because you had things like, first off, the most incredible theme song for SummerSlam. I don't care what anyone says. Cool for the Summer by Demi Lovato. This song just freaking worked. It was great, and it was just really cool. I remember that great video package that starts it off where they're talking about living in New York, and then it kind of transitions into Cool for the Summer, and they show the Barclays Center, place just going nuts. They were so happy to have it. This is really before the Barclays Center crowd got a little bit jaded, and it was great. I mean, there was so much here. The Undertaker and Brock Lesnar, their rematch from WrestleMania 30, 18 months almost in the making. You had John Cena and Seth Rollins going one-on-one. Seth Rollins, your world champion, going up against John Cena, the US champ. Both belts on the line. Rollins ends up winning both belts due to outside interference from Jon Stewart, who was the host of the show, and this is like right when he's retiring from The Daily Show, so Jon Stewart was also really big in pop culture, and he's now your SummerSlam host, and he ends up costing Cena the match with a chair to the stomach. What else is on this show? That the beginning of the Women's Revolution, when they brought up Team PCB, Paige, Charlotte, and Becky Lynch. Team Bad, you had Tamina Snuka, Naomi, and Sasha Banks, and then Team Bellas, the Bellas and Alicia Fox. They all went at it. Kevin Owens is on this show in an underrated match against Cesaro just because it's in a really bad position. It's just an awesome show start to finish. And the Raw the next night is crazy. The Dudleys return on that Raw. Braun Strowman debuts on that Raw. You get John Cena hitting the AA on John Stewart. And at the end of the show, Sting returns. It is just an awesome entire weekend, and I love this show. Right outside of our top 10, just because SummerSlam has so much history, but really strong stuff. SummerSlam 2015. So that is going to do it here, guys. Tomorrow morning, when you're viewing this, I might even throw this up here. You're probably going to see this Saturday morning. So later on in today, we're going to get 10 to 6. Some of the best SummerSlam events of all time right before our top 5. I'm so excited to get there with you guys. Hopefully you guys are liking the countdown. Please do make sure you do leave a thumbs up and subscribe so you get all this content right there into your inbox each and every day. And until next time, everybody, I am Tommy on the Spot for Watch Along Wrestling. You have a great day.